If you are looking at LinkedIn automation tools, the assumption is that they all do basically the same thing. You connect your account, build a sequence and start sending, just pick whichever one has the best looking dashboard and get going. That's how I thought about it too, until I started actually using a lot of them. Because the difference between tools isn't the sequence builder, it's how safe it is to run, how easy it is to set up properly, and whether the campaigns you launch actually get replies. By the end of this video, you will know exactly whether Waalaxy is the right tool for you, what it actually does well, the one gap that matters, and whether the pricing makes sense once you account for what the website doesn't tell you. So if you're considering Waalaxy for automating your LinkedIn outreach and you just want a clear, honest breakdown before you commit, that's exactly what this video is. I've been using Waalaxy for about 3 months now, long enough to know what it's actually like to use it day to day, not just what the marketing material says. Now, one quick note up front, Waalaxy doesn't have email warm-up built in, which matters if cold email is a core part of your outreach. I'll get into why that's a real gap later, but if that's a deal breaker for you, you will know early. Everything else I'll walk you through honestly, the parts that genuinely impressed me and the parts that didn't. So I'll now cover what it does well. Let's start with what Waalaxy gets right. The biggest one is how fast you can get going. You can literally have a campaign going within an hour of signing up. You just pick your audience, write your sequence and hit start. That actually matters a lot, because the slower the setup, the longer it takes before you know if your outreach is even working. On top of LinkedIn outreach, Waalaxy also lets you run cold email as part of the same sequence. Though, as I mentioned, you will need a separate warm-up tool to make it actually land. We'll come back to that. But the idea is you can start with a connection request, follow up with a LinkedIn message, and then have a cold email go out further down the line. All automated and all in one place. The other thing that used to hold people back was the actual copywriting. Writing messages that don't sound too salesy and to actually get replies is genuinely hard. Waalaxy tackled that by building an AI writer directly into the platform. So when I tried it, I thought it would not be very good, since these kinds of tools usually just give you something generic that you'd never actually send. But this one is actually quite good. The messages sound like something a human would actually send, and it understands the context of your sequence. So the follow-up doesn't feel disconnected from the first message or the first few messages. There's also a feature that I think is underrated, which is the response rate indicator. Of course, in the analytics, you can see your response rate on your LinkedIn messages and outreach. But it also gives you clear indications of what you should do about it. For example, if it's too low, it will give you practical advice on what you need to do to get it higher. For example, it might tell you that it is too salesy, or if it's already good, it just tells you to duplicate that message and test variants to make it even better. So for anyone who's new to outreach, that feedback loop is genuinely useful, because when you're just starting out, you don't even know what a good reply rate looks like. Here, it doesn't just tell you if it's good, it also gives you advice on what to do. So it turns the platform into something that teaches you while you use it. Importing leads is also quite flexible. You get LinkedIn Search, Sales Navigator, CSVs, LinkedIn Groups, events, and if you pull from a free LinkedIn search and some results don't match your filters, which often will happen, there's a Clean My List button that filters them out automatically by job title. So that can also save a lot of time, and especially it can stop you from sending to the wrong people. And then there's the inbox, with all your LinkedIn conversations in one place without ever having to open LinkedIn. You can reply, schedule messages, set reminders, and use saved replies for responses you send over and over. You can also tag your leads to filter your inbox by certain tags. It's free for up to 500 conversations, and after that it does become a paid add-on for €20 a month. But then you do get unlimited conversations. It is worth knowing that it is a separate add-on, but if you're running multiple active campaigns, the time it saves usually more than covers the cost. Waalaxy also has a Teams feature that allows you to invite your team members, and they can then also connect their own LinkedIn accounts, meaning you can send from multiple LinkedIn accounts inside of one Waalaxy account. But the pricing is per user, per month or per year, whatever billing cycle you choose, so the pricing does stack up for every LinkedIn account. Now, what does Waalaxy not get right? First, getting back to the email warm-up. If you want cold email to actually land in someone's inbox and not go straight to spam, you need to warm up your sending accounts first. And that has to happen outside of Waalaxy with a separate tool like warmy.io. It's an extra step with extra cost and extra complexity. For a platform that sells multi-channel outreach, that is a real miss. That said, if you are using Waalaxy for LinkedIn outreach only, this doesn't apply to you at all. Then on scalability, LinkedIn limits how many connection requests you can send per day, regardless of what tool you are using. So there is a ceiling on what a single account can do. What you can do, as I mentioned earlier, is connect multiple LinkedIn accounts through the team feature. By doing that, the volume can add up across all of your accounts. So it does scale, just not through a single account. Now, I've also seen a bunch of reviews that mention occasional bugs, the campaigns pausing unexpectedly, connectivity issues, and more. In 3 months of using it, I personally haven't run into any of that, but I thought I'd mention it since it does come up pretty frequently in reviews. However, for those users, it's also not a deal breaker because Waalaxy still has a review of 4.8 out of 5 on G2. Waalaxy's pricing is higher than some of its competitors, but for what you are getting, which is ease of use, solid automation, AI messages, all in one place, I think personally that it is worth it. So speaking of the pricing, Waalaxy has 3 main paid tiers. They have Pro, Advanced and Business, plus an enterprise plan for teams of 5 or more. Pro starts at €19 per user per month if you bill it annually. If you want to do month-to-month billing, it's €38 per month. This gives you 300 LinkedIn invites a month, and that's enough to get started. But if you're serious about outreach, you will outgrow it fast. Advanced is €49 per user per month, also billed annually, and bumps you up to 800 invites, plus API access and integrations with Zapier, Make, and N8N. This is the one most people will land on for LinkedIn-only outreach. And Business is €69 per user per month, which adds cold email sequences and the multi-channel campaigns on top. So those prices are yearly. If you want to pay monthly or quarterly like most people do, you will be paying more. Now, one more thing I want to mention, Waalaxy does also integrate with a few CRM tools. Currently, they have native integrations with Pipedrive, HubSpot, and NoCRM.io. Although they do also have API access, allowing you to integrate with pretty much anything through Zapier, Make, or N8N. So here's the final verdict. Is Waalaxy worth it? Here's how I think about it. Waalaxy is best if your outreach is primarily LinkedIn driven. If you want the fastest path from zero to a live campaign, the interface is clean, the AI writer is genuinely good, the response rate indicator helps you actually learn what works, and everything's in one place. You can also mix in some email, maybe one email step at the end of a sequence that's mostly LinkedIn, and that works fine. Waalaxy also has a built-in email finder, which allows you to just import a list of LinkedIn accounts from a LinkedIn search, and then it will find the email for every single one of those accounts that it has in its database. And I found that it does actually find most emails for most LinkedIn accounts, and they are quite accurate. So Waalaxy is definitely not terrible for cold email, but it does require multiple steps and tools for the missing warm-up. It means you'll be stitching together extra tools to make emails actually land, and at that point you're better off with a platform built around cold email from the start. So LinkedIn first outreach with email as a supporting channel, yes, this is the best option I've come across. But for cold email heavy campaigns, I would look elsewhere, for example Smart Lead, and then you can add in some manual actions for doing certain LinkedIn actions. But overall, I think Waalaxy is a great tool and I would definitely give it a try. The link in the description gets you 30 days free instead of the standard 14 days. That's more than enough time to run a full sequence and see how it actually performs for you. And if you want to get set up in the next 15 minutes, you can follow along with this tutorial I made that shows you everything you need to do, plus the hidden settings most people skip. A lot of people skip those and then wonder why their campaigns aren't performing. So that's linked in the description and on screen. If this video helped you decide if Waalaxy is for you, please consider leaving a like and I'll see you in the next one.